Hi guys, Dimensional Sight, back with another video. This time we are going to be looking at the Maroon Bells in Colorado. And that is the picture that you're looking at right now. All the pictures that we're looking at today are over 10 megapixel taken off of the internet when I went to start page and just typed in Maroon Bells. And I did find some interesting things at this site. So the first thing I'll talk about is the bigger picture that I see. When I was looking around, there's this corkscrew looking building over here. Well, I'm calling it a building. Let's call it a rock structure for now. And then over here on this side, you've got another kind of freestanding. You know what? Let's just call them buildings because that's what I'm going to be telling you I think these are, or were at one time. I do think that this was a massive structure at one time before it was all destroyed by the plasma event or cataclysmic event. What I see with this is from left to right, I believe a wave hit, and everything, because the angle at which the buildings are tilted is more extreme the more left you go. And so as you go right, the tilt of each building is less. Until you get to this one on the right over here, and this one is basically straight up and down level. And so this was like protected from the wave of crash that crashed in. It still was under the soup, so it still, everything got melted, but it wasn't shifted out of place like the other ones were as much. So that's one possibility, because then because you look and you see just the levels going up, especially when you zoom in a lot on the different parts, you just get that feeling that this was all carved and all done up just in an unbelievable way, I guess. And the other thing that I see also with this is I do get some signs of a mud fossil or like a Titan laying on its back. And that would be the face that I see formed right here. So I see a forehead, a brow ridge, an eye, a nose, and like a mouth and a chin right there. So hard to say, but I definitely see a lot of like a buildings type structure. So there's some anomalies on this. We'll go look at the first big one. There's not a whole lot of hidden anomalies everywhere, but there are some interesting things about this location, and I'm actually going to, in this video, show you 4 different pictures of this mountain range to give you an idea of what we're looking at a little bit better. This is the only picture of the 4, or of almost anyone that I've been able to find on this area, that shows you what is right down here in this location. Because the thing that I thought was really weird was you've got all this rubble coming down this way. And it all goes into a point right here. But then you would expect to see a huge hill of rubble down here, because over time, as all this snow melts and as it rains or as there's storm, or just over time, all this rubble should be getting its way worked down the mountain and into a pile. But instead of a pile, what we see is this at the bottom. And what I believe we're seeing is some kind of a mining operation. And I don't believe it's human beings that are doing the mining operation. I think that it is whatever lives in this area or inside this mountain structure. And I think what it's doing is they're harvesting over time everything that goes down this chute. They're picking it up down here and then they're taking it away into the different areas throughout. And I'm going to zoom in on this area and we're going to take a closer look at this area to see what might be going on here. I'm going to adjust these settings a little bit here. Let's go ahead and just oscillate to give you guys an idea of what we're looking at. See, so what I think we're seeing here is a big opening into this, where this rubble eventually comes down into, which would be right down here. And then maybe there's a bridge in here, like a, you can kind of see that archway. And then there's potentially another archway. Hard to tell, but there's also maybe carvings up around here on this rock, because I am definitely seeing something like that all around this area. And then this is a waterfall apparently. It's a very small, thin waterfall that comes down. And what you'll notice right here is there's a green strip that comes right down here, and then this is where the water runs down. And in the other photos, what you'll see is that this is actually brown and not green. And you can see that there's trees here, but this is not trees. So this particular area is interesting because apparently certain times of the year stuff grows on it and other times it's brown. But what it looks like down here to me as well is that there is potentially like a walkway or something going across here, and then it goes back. And then you kind of see that same green stuff right here. So this doesn't look like trees, but rather the same thing as whatever this green grass or moss or something like that. And also at the tip of the rubble, you'll see this shape in all the pictures right here. It's green in this one, but in the others it's brown and it's other colors. So again, it's that whatever grows probably on it. And I think that potentially these areas right up here that we see are like lookout points of some sort, and also potentially like this curved, what looks like a candy cane almost. And then there's a couple other pictures where you'll see a couple more of those might be like lookouts. These might be like looking down to see who's coming. This area too is interesting because it kind of looks like almost like windows or something. I mean, that is also where the waterfall is located, so it's kind of an interesting spot right there. We'll look at that in some of the other photos. Let's see. So one of the other anomalies that I saw on this was over on the left-hand side here. And over here, the thing that I noticed was it was just kind of looking around, and I noticed this guy right here. There's like a statue, I believe, standing right here. I'm going to zoom in, and we're going to oscillate this one a little bit so you can see it better. And this is actually one of the better finds on this picture right here because I can multiple confirm this one on 3 out of the 4 pictures I'm going to show you. So it's very interesting, this one. Um, it would be very interesting to be at this location to see what it looks like if you were like standing in front of it. Um, because there's another picture where, so at first I thought this guy had like a goblin type face with these kind of like ears or something back here, but when I see, there's another picture where you actually get to see this image a lot clearer. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to use the snipping tool, and I'm going to snip an image of this right here, and then we can put this next to some of our other pictures and compare them better. So the first one we'll look at is of the same location, and I'm not going to be like oscillating on these ones because I can't open multiple in this free little photo gallery program. I'm just going to show you some of the basics without oscillating the image, but I can zoom in on it. So in this one, it's a little different angle slightly, and you can see here at the rubble pile, we don't get to see quite as much of. It's not as good of a resolution either. We don't get, but I think you can still fairly clearly see because you can see the black spots down here where it kind of goes in towards where that rubble pile goes down. But you can see how in the different lighting condition too, you would think this is just a straight wall right here that you couldn't go in. So that's kind of the camouflage I think that they're using. A lot of times during the day and then in a lot of light conditions you're not going to be able to even see that there's an entrance there at all. And here's that kind of what I think is maybe a window or like a door that comes out, and same thing like up here. And then over where the statue guy is located on this image, again, lower resolution. This is the spot right here where he's standing, but you really can't make out much on that one. So I'm going to close this one down. There's not a whole lot to see on this one. This is probably of the 4 not the least good to look at. This one has a more of a bright daylight to it. It's again a very similar angle, but not quite the same. You can see on this one when the rubble pile comes down. Here you can clearly see the waterfall on this one, and also on this one you can see it's green going up. So it's that time of year where it stays green. And where the rubble pile comes down, again on this one it really does not look like you can go in here, but there is some black kind of spots you can start to see down here, and because this one the trees are much more taller in the way of the shot, that's why you're not seeing this opening like you can. We'll go back to the other one. I'll show you what I mean. Actually, let me just go back to it right now, and you'll kind of get a better idea of what I'm saying here. So see this big wide open shot we're getting of this? These trees are way down here. You know, this guy's like way up on a higher hillside looking down. And then this picture, you know, when you visit this park, you probably, you know, unless you're a hardcore hiker going all the way back here and up here through these woods, probably not even a trail. I don't know that goes all the way to that. Maybe there is, but probably really hard to get to, I'm guessing. Can't really see too many of the I mean, again, resolution's just not good enough to really see if there's carvings here in certain lighting or what. Up here, you can kind of see that candy cane shaped, maybe a snake head shaped thing appears to be sticking out. Let's go look at our statue guy on this one. So in this image, you can see him. He's there. Here he is, right here. but this isn't nearly as good as the last one I'm going to show you. Um, he is definitely different looking in this one. So in the other one, he looks more like I said, like a goblin-faced guy. But when you see him here, he starts to look more like a Caucasian fellow with like a almost like what Robin Hood would be wearing. So, and then there's like a shield here he's got in front of him, and here's his arm. So I'll show you in the last image which by far the best of what he looks like. Um, Also, this one's valuable for the mud fossil version of the image because if you're looking at that giant face, you actually get to see the most of this headdress that I've found on any picture. I'm calling it a headdress. So like what I'm seeing here, here's the Titan's face. Here's his eye, or her. I'm getting a female vibe actually potentially on this one, and the forehead, and then maybe on the forehead he's either eroded away, or this was maybe something placed on the forehead, or potentially this entire Titan fell backwards and crashed to the ground, and then the headdress kind of came off from the head. Potentially this is the strap at the bottom of the headdress, and then this would be the elongated skull, Egyptian style. Maybe there was a snake on the front. Maybe this was a snake on the front here, like a snake head. You can see these lines going down here, so that's kind of the structure of how that headdress would have been built. So let's say the Titan built the headdress using, some type of material that was long, like a basket weaving type of thing, or uh, however something like that might be made uh, in these layers like that. So let's go to the last picture. And that is this one right here. And this one, it's just got good color. It was, I guess, just that perfect lighting at that time of day where it just kind of brings the color out of this photo. Now in this one you don't get to see even the tip of the rubble pile, so you just can't see anything that's happening down there. And then here's our little waterfall, and here's the one where you can see it's brown. So whatever time of year this was, the green stuff was not growing, and then you can see more of the rock and stuff on this one. It's kind of getting an image right here, like almost a pinkish color. And here's the little lookout guy I was telling you about. Um, Here's another one I think right here. It's harder to see on the other pictures, but on this one you can see it better. And I thought I saw a third one somewhere, but I think they're hiding them, I mean, maybe even like this right here. Or is this for airflow to get inside? Because you know how what they'll do is when it rains, you don't want the water going down your tube, so to have the air, you put these candy cane shaped vents in. That way the water can't go down. And then on this one, we're going to go look at our statue guy. And you're going to get a really good look at him this time. So here he is right here. And what I'll do, I'm actually going to maybe oscillate this one just a little bit. Actually, no, we don't need to oscillate it. Let's go back to him. No, sorry. I'm sorry, I just lost the image. What did I do? My fault, guys. Um, let's open it back up. Let's just go look at him. Here he is. Let's pull up that snipping tool version. So this was from the original picture, but here you can see much clearer what we're looking at. Uh, here's his chin, his nose, his eye. He's got what appears to be like I was saying, a Robin Hood style of cap or hat on. Here's his ear, his hair. There's his arm. There's his neck. There's like a shield, I think, that he's holding in front of him with his left hand. He's got like his left hand on top of it. And then, you know. So that's all I got for today on this one. This is a pretty interesting location. Like I said, I would love to actually visit this one and see what the heck it looks like from this angle if you're anywhere close to it. You probably can't see it at all. You probably can't make out any of this. You're only seeing this from this distance, I think. I mean, even from this distance, when you know what's there, you can see him. He's like right there. But if you were just scanning across, you wouldn't really see him. He's totally blended in. So it's kind of how this dimensional sight stuff works. So anyways, guys, I'm going to go ahead and end this video, and let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and let me know what you think in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks. Bye.